Welcome back to Horoscope TV. So today, I want you to imagine that your brain is like a computer web browser.
Oh, I already know where this is going.
Right. You have exactly 142 tabs open right now.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum. And music is playing super loudly from one of them. A video is just auto-playing on another.
And you cannot figure out which tab the noise is coming from.
Exactly. You're frantically clicking around. Like, 3 of them are half-written emails you just completely forgot to send.
Yes.
And instead of just, closing the tabs, your instinct is to just open a totally new window and start searching for something else entirely.
Because that makes total sense.
Right. But that feeling, that dizzying, chaotic, totally overstimulated hum, that is exactly what the universe is handing to you as we enter this week.
It really, really is. That browser tab analogy is just the absolute perfect way to describe the Gemini energy right now.
So if you are a Gemini, or maybe if you just love a Gemini, you are going to want to get very comfortable.
Turn off your notifications.
Yes. Put the phone on silent and just breathe for a moment. Because today we are looking incredibly closely at the astrological charts for the Gemini zodiac sign for the week of March 30 to April 5, 2026.
And it is so wonderful to be here to analyze this with you, because when I look at the astro data for you this week, it is, well, it's not just a simple straight line from Monday to Sunday.
No, it's definitely a roller coaster.
It is a profound, twisting journey. We are looking at a week that has these massive, massive peaks of brilliant clarity, but also
Some pretty deep valleys.
exactly some very deep valleys where your body is simply going to demand that you stop moving.
Right. And looking at the charts, the overwhelming theme for this week is this intense, almost magnetic pull to just hit the pause button.
Yes.
It's a massive craving to step completely back from the noisy, demanding world we live in and just intensely focus on your own inner healing.
Healing and just quiet.
Yeah, quiet. It's about spiritual growth, sure. But more practically, I think it's about giving your buzzing brain a rest.
That is exactly what the planetary geometry is showing us right now. When I analyze the overall charts for the week of March 30 to April 5, I see this fascinating, almost uncomfortable push and pull happening inside you.
Uncomfortable how? Like a tug of war.
Exactly like a tug of war. On one hand, your physical body and your nervous system have this deep, deep craving for absolute silence.
Okay.
But on the other hand, you are a Gemini. Your ruling planet is Mercury.
The planet of communication and speed.
Right. Your brain is a supercomputer. It is full of these bold, entirely unmatched ideas, so you are sitting there wanting to rest, but your mind is running a marathon without your permission.
Oh, wow. I keep picturing one of those really intense, fast-paced video games.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the ones where there are neon lights flashing everywhere. Enemies are flying at you from literally every direction. The music is just pumping at 120 beats per minute.
And you've been playing for 6 hours straight.
Right. Your thumbs are cramping up. This week is finally desperately finding a safe little corner on the map and just hitting the pause button.
Yes, just freezing everything.
You were just standing there in the quiet of the pause menu. The music stops. You're checking your health bar to see how much damage you've taken.
Taking inventory.
Exactly. Opening your inventory, organizing your tools, drinking a healing potion. You were just taking a long, deep breath before you unpause the game and rush into the next crazy boss battle.
That is a brilliant way to visualize it because, the reality of the game is that you cannot fight the big boss of the level if your health bar is flashing red.
You'll just lose immediately.
You will lose immediately. And the astrological charts are telling us very clearly that as this week begins, your health bar is flashing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It might be a lot lower than you even realize because you are just so used to moving fast.
Right.
Before you can conquer the world, before you can, impress your boss or go on a great date, you absolutely must make sure your internal battery is charged.
Which means we need to talk about March 30.
We do.
We have to start with your inner world and finding your peace. Because if you do not get this right, the rest of the week is going to be incredibly difficult.
It really will be.
Let's look at the sky on March 30. The charts are showing this massive, almost overwhelming urge to just hide away from everyone.
They are. On March 30, we see the planet Venus moving into a very quiet, hidden sector of your astrological chart.
Okay, so break that down for us.
Well, to understand why this matters, we need to talk about what Venus normally does. Venus is the planet of attraction, love, socializing, and harmony.
It loves a good party.
It loves to mingle. It's very outgoing. But when Venus moves into this specific, hidden, private area of your chart, its expression completely changes.
How so?
The party clothes come off, the comfortable sweatpants go on.
Looks nice.
Right. When I analyze this shift, it means you are going to feel a remarkably strong urge to just retreat from the public eye.
Okay, wait. I have to stop you right there and push back on this a little.
There, go ahead.
We are talking about Geminis here.
I know.
The ultimate social butterflies of the entire zodiac. You are telling me that a Gemini, someone who thrives on being the center of the room, someone who gets their energy from talking to people,
Yes.
is just going to sit in a dark room by themselves.
Yes.
Won't that just make them more anxious? Like they're going to get terrible fear of missing out. Isn't it going to feel really weird for them to cancel plans?
It is going to feel very strange at first, yes.
I'd imagine so.
You might even feel a little guilty when you look at your phone. You know, you'll see an invitation to a big group dinner or a loud concert, and your first habit is to type, "Yes, I'll be there."
Because that's what a Gemini does.
Exactly. But right before you hit send, your stomach is going to drop, and you will realize you just cannot do it.
Wow.
And you should not do it. You need to understand that the charts show your nervous system is completely overloaded.
Overloaded how? Like just from talking too
It's
much?
deeper than that. Let's move away from the web browser analogy for a second and think about a radio antenna.
Okay, I'm with you.
As an air sign, you are like a highly sensitive radio antenna that is constantly pulling in invisible signals from the air around you.
Right.
You are picking up on the moods of your coworkers. You are absorbing the news articles you read. You are processing the 100 text messages you get every day.
It's exhausting just hearing it.
Exactly. Right now, your antenna is picking up too many frequencies at the exact same time. It is creating static. You have had simply too much mental activity.
Oh, got it.
Your brain is a sponge that is entirely full of water, and it cannot soak up one single drop more without dripping all over the floor.
Wow. The static on the radio. That is a feeling I think, everyone can relate to. But for you as a Gemini, it's just dialed up to a 10 this week.
It is. So when Venus moves into this quiet sector on March 30, it is not a punishment. It is the universe handing you a giant permission slip to wring out the sponge.
I love that. A permission slip.
It is the universe turning the dial on the radio to find dead air. It is not that you don't love your friends anymore. It's just that your physical nervous system needs a break from the noise of other human beings.
So to our listener, when that group chat starts blowing up on March 30 and everyone is trying to make plans, do not feel bad about putting your phone on airplane mode.
Not at all.
Tell them you have a headache. Tell them you have to work early. Whatever you need to say to protect your peace.
Yes.
But, if you just sit on the couch in silence, the pressure inside your head still has to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
How do we actually fix the overloaded antenna?
That brings us to a very important celestial event on April 2.
Okay.
This is a crucial date for your health and your wellness. On April 2, we have a full moon happening in the sign of Libra.
Okay, let's break that down for the listener. What does a full moon actually do?
Think of the lunar cycle like a giant breath. The new moon is the inhale, bringing things in, starting fresh. The full moon is the massive exhale. It is when the moon is at its absolute brightest in the night sky. It illuminates everything. It pulls the tides of the ocean and it pulls the emotions right out of us.
Oh, wow.
A full moon is always about things reaching their absolute peak. It is a time of release. If your overloaded nervous system is a pressure cooker that has been whistling on the stove, this full moon on April 2 is the exact moment you finally reach up and flip the pressure valve to let the steam out.
That sounds like such a physical relief, just letting all that hot steam out so the pot doesn't explode all over the kitchen ceiling.
Exactly.
And it is happening in Libra. What does that flavor add to the mix?
Well, Libra is a sign focused entirely on balance, harmony, and beauty. So this isn't a violent, angry release of steam.
That's good.
It is a gentle, rebalancing release. It is bringing your scales back to the center.
So what does that look like on a practical Tuesday evening? We don't want you just sitting on the couch vibrating with leftover stress. What are the actual ways you can use this full moon energy to release the tension?
The astro data points strongly toward activities that force your brain to focus on just one single calming thing.
Okay.
As a Gemini, you are always multitasking. You are watching a movie while scrolling social media while eating dinner.
Guilty.
Right. The full moon is asking you to stop that. This is the perfect time to sit down and read a really good book.
A physical book, not reading on a tablet where an email notification might pop up.
Exactly, an actual paper book. Because when you read a book, your busy mind is forced to follow one linear story. It stops the branching thoughts.
That makes a lot of sense.
Or you could try meditating. If sitting in silence is too hard for your busy mind, try guided meditation where you just listen to someone's voice.
Yeah, that helps keep you focused.
Or simply put on some very soothing instrumental music, lie flat on your back on the living room floor, and just exist. The goal is to do things that gently guide your mind into a state of singular rest.
I can picture that so perfectly. You come home, you dim the lights, you put on that soft music, you lie on the carpet, and you can literally feel your shoulders dropping 2 inches away from your ears.
Yes.
You unclench your jaw, you let the floor hold your weight. But looking at the notes you brought, there is also a very specific practical warning in the charts about your physical routine right now.
Yes, there is a very practical warning regarding your sleep. You absolutely must get plenty of rest this week.
Okay.
But here is the problem. Because your mind is still full of those big ideas we talked about, it is going to try to keep your body awake.
Oh, I hate that.
You will lie in bed, and your brain will suddenly want to redesign your entire living room or, solve a mystery from 10 years ago.
So how do you fight that when your brain just won't shut off?
You have to help your body settle down, and the absolute most important thing you can do is manage your chemistry. You must avoid drinking late-day caffeine.
Oh, this is so hard for the people who hit that 3:00 p.m. slump at the office.
I know it is. I really do. But right now, your nervous system is so sensitive, so frayed, that if you have a cup of coffee or an energy drink at 4:00 p.m., your body is going to hold on to that artificial energy until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yikes.
Your heart will be racing and your mind will be spinning, completely ruining the restful energy you need to build up.
So we switched to herbal tea in the afternoon, peppermint, chamomile, whatever works for you.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets really interesting and a little bit fun. To help you remember to be gentle with yourself, the astro data actually highlights a specific color of the week for you.
Yes, it does.
And the color for Gemini this week is yellow. If you are someone who likes the exact digital color codes, it is #FFFFEverKnow. It is a bright, true, pure yellow, like a cartoon sun.
Yellow is a wonderful, fascinating color for Gemini energy. In color theory and astrology, yellow is associated with Mercury, your ruling planet.
Okay.
It stimulates the mind, but not in a panicked, red-alert kind of way. It stimulates it in a very warm, positive, cheerful way. It brings clarity.
I love the idea of using this in a really practical way around your house. Since your mind is going to be so busy trying to multitask and you need physical reminders to rest, what if you went out and bought a pack of those bright yellow sticky notes?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
You could write little grounding messages to yourself and leave them where you will see them.
That is a highly effective psychological trick.
Right. You stick one on the bathroom mirror that just says, take a deep breath. You put one on the refrigerator that says, drink a glass of water.
Yes.
You put one right on the corner of your computer monitor at work that says, no coffee after 2 p.m. Every time your eye catches that bright, true yellow, let it be a happy little wink from the universe, reminding you to stay gentle with yourself while you recharge your battery.
I highly recommend doing exactly that. It is a brilliant application of the charts. Because I promise you, once you have rested, once you have wrung out the sponge and recharged that internal battery,
You're going to need it.
you are going to need every single ounce of that mental energy. The universe is not going to let you stay on the living room floor forever. We have to look at what happens at your job this week.
Yes, let's make that transition. We are moving out of the quiet living room and straight into the bright lights of your workplace. Because once you are rested, you are thrown right back into the action.
Ready or not.
And it does not start smoothly. Let's look closely at the daily grind and specifically the speed bump waiting for you on March 31st.
Let's analyze the sky for March 31st. When I look at the planetary geometry for this day, I see a very specific pocket of difficult energy.
Where is it?
It is sitting squarely in the sector of your chart that governs your daily workflow, your routines, and your tools. The chart strongly indicates sudden, annoying disruptions.
Yeah.
You will be going entirely about your normal business, and suddenly there is a frustrating delay. And given the planetary alignments, it is most likely going to involve technology.
Oh no. Technology glitches are the absolute worst when you're just trying to get your job done.
They really are.
Let's paint a picture of what this looks like so you can be prepared. Imagine you are at work. You are working on a massive, highly important project. You are completely in the zone.
You're flowing.
Yeah, you're typing furiously. Your fingers are flying across the keyboard. You are finally at the finish line. You move your mouse up to hit save or to send it off to your boss.
I can already feel the anxiety building.
And suddenly, your computer screen goes completely black. Just dead.
Oh, the worst.
And then Slowly, that little spinning wheel of doom appears in the center of the screen. Your computer has decided, right at that exact critical moment, to run a slow, unskippable system update.
No.
The screen flashes blue and the text says, "Update 1 of 100. Do not turn off your machine."
Just hearing you describe that makes my heart rate go up. But that is the exact feeling of the energy on March 31st.
It's maddening.
It is maddening. It feels like the universe is playing a sick joke on you. But you have to remember, the astro data is not just giving us a warning to scare you or make you dread going to work. Astrology always gives you a strategy. And the advice here is to stay incredibly adaptable.
Adaptability. That is a core Gemini trait, isn't it?
It is your greatest strength. You are a mutable sign. In astrology, mutable signs are the ones that end the seasons. They are designed to transition, to change, to pivot.
Okay.
You have a natural cleverness that other signs simply do not possess. When the earth signs dig in their heels and get stubborn, you flow around the obstacle like air.
So what does that mean in the moment the computer crashes? It means you do not sit there and scream at the screen. You do not throw your coffee cup against the wall.
Please don't do that.
You do not complain to everyone in the office about how unfair it is. You take a breath, you pivot, and you find another way.
Yes.
You grab a physical pen and a piece of paper, and you outline the rest of the project by hand. Or you walk across the office to a coworker's desk, and you brainstorm the next steps out loud while your machine updates.
Precisely. You keep moving forward, just in a different lane.
Yeah.
And here is why this is so important. If you use your natural cleverness to find alternative ways to get the job done, you are going to turn a very bad situation into a massive win.
Really? How so?
The charts indicate that this quick thinking, the specific ability to stay cool and adapt when the technology fails, will be highly visible to the people in charge. It will seriously impress the higher-ups at your workplace.
Because bosses notice who panics and who problem solves.
Exactly. Your boss is going to look out of their office and see that while everyone else might be stressing out about the server going down, you are calmly continuing to produce value.
You're unbothered.
You are proving that you do not freeze under pressure.
I love that. You turn a frustrating speed bump into a launching pad for your reputation.
Yes.
And speaking of launching pads, we have to talk about the massive shift in energy that happens just a few days later. Because if March 31 is the speed bump, April 3 is the wide-open, no-speed limit highway.
It truly is.
According to the charts, April 3 is highlighted as one of the absolute best dates of the entire week for you.
It is a spectacular day. When we look at the planetary movements for April 3, we see a beautiful, highly harmonious connection between two very important planets, Mercury and Jupiter.
Okay, let's break down the mechanics of this so the listener understands exactly why this is so powerful. Who are Mercury and Jupiter, and what happens when they shake hands?
Mercury is your ruling planet. It governs how you think, how you speak, how you process information, and how quickly your brain moves. It is the messenger.
Got it.
Jupiter, on the other hand, is the giant of the solar system. It is the planet of growth, expansion, luck, and seeing the massive big picture.
Okay, so speed beats expansion.
Yes. When these two planets form a harmonious angle, meaning they are working together without any friction, it is like upgrading your brain's processor. It gives you incredible, almost frightening mental clarity.
I want to really dig into what this genius moment feels like in the real world. Imagine you are sitting in a crowded conference room at work. The entire team has been trying to solve the exact same annoying, complex problem for 3 weeks. The whiteboards are full of scribbles. Everyone is arguing. People are getting frustrated. Nobody can figure out the right path forward.
We've all been in that meeting.
Right? You are sitting there listening to all the noise. And suddenly, because Mercury and Jupiter are connected, it is like a high-powered light bulb switches on inside your head. You see the entire puzzle from 1,000 feet in the air.
Yes.
You see how all the pieces fit together so clearly. You speak up. You share your bold idea, and the whole room just goes totally silent because the solution is so elegant and perfect.
That is the perfect illustration of the Mercury-Jupiter connection in action. Your communication skills on April 3 are going to be completely unmatched by anyone else around you.
Yeah.
Your brain is working faster, clearer, and with more vision than anyone else's in the room. This makes it a fantastic, prime time to share those big, bold ideas you have been keeping to yourself.
Okay, so don't hold back.
Do not hold back. But it is not just about solving team problems. It is also the exact right time to focus on your own career path. It is time to negotiate.
Ooh, negotiate.
Yeah.
We are talking about using your words to get exactly what you want.
Exactly, because your mind is so sharp, and more importantly, because you can articulate your own values so perfectly right now, you are highly capable of negotiating better terms for yourself.
People will just listen to you.
People will be naturally inclined to agree with your logic.
So how do you use this? If you are overwhelmed with a project, April 3 is the day you walk into the boss's office and confidently ask for a later deadline, explaining exactly why it benefits the company.
Yes, that's perfect.
If you have been taking on the work of 3 people and you want to discuss a raise or a promotion, this is the day to plant that seed. You schedule the meeting for April 3. Your words have an incredible persuasive power during this transit. You'll sound so reasonable and so smart that they will have a very hard time saying no.
That is the beauty of this alignment. You just have to be brave enough to open your mouth and use it.
So, to recap your work week, stay incredibly calm and pivot when the printer breaks or the computer crashes on the 31st. Because by the 3rd, you're going to be the smartest, most persuasive person in the building.
Very well summarized.
But wait, we have to be careful here.
We do.
Because with great work success and feeling really smart and powerful comes a brand new temptation. When you feel like a genius, you start to feel invincible.
You do.
And when you feel invincible, you usually want to spend money. Which brings us to the financial charts and a very serious warning. Let's talk about your wallet.
Yes. Money and finance are a deeply important part of the astro data for you this week. And the overall theme we see playing out here is a dangerous battle between thinking big and spending big.
Let's start with the positive side of the coin because there is actually some really good news here about making money, right?
There is. The positive planetary alignments earlier in the week, especially with that Mercury-Jupiter connection, encourage you to think very big about your income potential. The charts show that this is an excellent, fertile time to explore exciting new avenues for generating extra cash outside of your normal paycheck.
And what kind of avenues are we talking about? Like, what should they look into?
The data points specifically toward endeavors that utilize your natural Gemini gifts, your communication skills. This looks like freelance work, consulting, speaking, or creative writing projects.
I can see that so clearly.
Eh.
Because your brain is firing on all cylinders, maybe this is the week you finally set up the website for that blog you have been talking about for 2 years.
Yes, exactly.
Or maybe you reach out to a local business and offer to run their social media accounts for a side fee. You have the ideas flowing, and those ideas have a very real potential to turn into actual spendable money in your pocket.
They absolutely do.
But, and this is a massive but, we have to talk about the trap waiting for you at the end of the week.
We do. We must issue a very strong warning for April 5. When I analyzed the planetary geometry for this specific day, I see the sun moving into what we call a square with Jupiter.
Okay, stop right there. I am confused, and I need to push back on this.
Go ahead.
You just told me 10 minutes ago that Jupiter is the planet of luck, growth, and expansion. When Mercury connected with Jupiter on April 3, I was a genius in the boardroom. Why on earth is the sun connecting with Jupiter on April 1st suddenly a danger zone for my bank account? Shouldn't more Jupiter mean more luck?
That is a wonderful, logical question. The difference here is entirely about the type of geometric connection the planets are making.
Okay, explain that.
On April 3, Mercury and Jupiter were making a harmonious angle. They were working together in flow. But on April 5, the sun and Jupiter are making a square. A square happens when two celestial bodies are at an exact 90-degree angle to each other in the sky.
And what does a 90-degree angle do?
Imagine two fast-moving cars arriving at a four-way intersection at the exact same time from different directions.
Oh, that's not good.
No. Neither driver wants to yield. They both want to push forward. That is a square. It creates intense friction, tension, and a clash of energies.
So they crash.
Essentially, yes. So when the sun, which represents your core self, your identity, and your ego meets Jupiter, the planet of massive expansion, at this 90-degree crossroads, it creates a very specific, dangerous psychological feeling. I call it blinding optimism.
Blinding optimism. Okay, let's unpack that. What does blinding optimism actually look like in a person's real life?
It means your ego hits the gas pedal of expansion right when it should be hitting the brakes. You feel totally invincible.
Wow.
You feel so confident, so lucky, and so wildly capable that you completely lose touch with reality and your actual limits. At work, this blinding optimism might cause you to accidentally promise way more than you can realistically deliver.
Oh, I know this feeling. Your boss asks if you can finish 3 giant reports by Friday. Normally, you would say, I can do them by Friday. But because you have this Sun square Jupiter energy pumping through your veins, you feel like a superhero. You
Yeah.
say, sure, no problem, we'll do all three, without actually looking at a clock to see how many hours are in the day.
Exactly. You overcommit because your optimism blinds you to the limits of time.
But how does this affect your wallet? How does it ruin your budget?
Well, how do you think? Because you feel so rich and successful.
Let me guess. Because I feel so rich and successful, I spend like I am a millionaire.
Precisely. You feel overly dangerously confident about your money. You might not even look at your bank account balance. You just assume it is fine.
Oh, that's a dangerous game.
You think, I am doing great at work. The universe loves me. I can afford this. You might spend recklessly based on future money you haven't even earned yet.
Let's give the listener a real-world scenario. You go to the big box electronics store because you need to buy, like, a simple $10 pair of headphones for work.
Okay.
But while you were there, you see a massive, brand-new, wildly expensive flat-screen television. And because of that blinding optimism on April 5, you don't think about your rent. You don't think about your car payment.
You don't think about anything practical.
You just feel so incredibly positive about the future that you put the TV in your cart. You walk in for $10 headphones, and you walk out $1,000 in debt. Your optimism completely blinds you to the actual mathematical reality of your bank account.
That is exactly how the trap works. It is terrifyingly easy to fall into because it actually feels really good while you are doing it. It feels like joy.
So how do we stop the listener from buying the giant TV? What is the practical advice to survive April 5?
The Astro data gives very clear instructions. Sit down, open your banking app, and review all your monthly expenses carefully.
Face the numbers.
Do not guess how much money you have. Look at the cold, hard numbers. Ground yourself in reality. Take your budget one step at a time.
Right. If the square brings blinding light, you need the numbers to act as your sunglasses.
I love that. Yes.
So instead of buying something flashy just because you feel a momentary high, what should the listener actually do with their money this week?
The charts strongly suggest focusing on saving a little extra right now. The data points toward a very specific need later in the month.
Oh, like a big purchase.
Sort of. It indicates that you are going to find a highly meaningful educational course or a very helpful professional tool that will advance your skills and truly help your career.
Ah, okay.
You want to make sure you have the money saved in your account to comfortably afford that useful tool rather than wasting your cash on a momentary flashy thrill on April 5.
That makes total sense. Don't buy the flashy TV today so you can buy the certification course that gets you a promotion tomorrow. Protect your future self from your present ego.
Very well said.
Okay, so we have navigated the exhaustion of your inner world, we have survived the stress of work and the tech glitches, and we have protected your wallet from blinding optimism.
We've covered a lot of ground.
It is time for a serious change of pace. Let's talk about something much lighter. Let's talk about playful sparks, joy, and the hidden insecurities in your love and romance charts.
This is a truly beautiful area of the chart to explore this week, because frankly, thinking about money and work all the time is stressful.
Tell me about it.
But the universe balances things out. That same full moon we talked about earlier, the one happening on April 2 in the sign of Libra, brings a wonderful, refreshing shift in energy toward joy and romance.
Wait, let's connect the dots here. We talked about the full moon in Libra acting as a pressure valve for your overloaded nervous system, letting you rest and read a book. How does that exact same moon also affect your romantic life?
It is about where that moon is located in the geometry of a Gemini chart. For you, this specific full moon lights up the sector of your chart that governs joy, romance, fun, creativity, and inner child playfulness.
Oh, fun.
Think of the full moon like a giant, glowing, theatrical spotlight shining directly on the most playful, charming parts of your personality. It illuminates your desire to have fun. And remember, the charts list April 2 as another one of the week's absolute best dates.
Let's break this down for the listeners because it will play out differently depending on their relationship status. Let's start with the single folks. If you are single and you have a giant lunar spotlight shining on your romance and creativity sector on April 2, what does that actually mean for your day?
It means you need to get out of the house and do things that genuinely make you smile.
Like, don't just sit on the couch.
Right. The charts show a very high probability that you might meet someone fascinating, but there is a catch. You will not meet them by swiping on an app in your living room.
Okay, so delete the apps for a night.
Yes. The alignment suggests you will meet them through a creative hobby or a social event centered around the arts or play.
Let's paint the picture. You decide to take my advice from earlier and finally finish a passion project you have been neglecting. Let's say you sign up for a local pottery class, or maybe a creative writing workshop that meets at a coffee shop.
Wonderful examples.
You are there. You are feeling relaxed because you actually took March 30 to rest in silence.
Yeah.
Your battery is charged. You are doing something you genuinely love, so you have an open mind and a very natural, easy smile on your face.
And people are drawn to that.
Exactly. And right there, reaching for the same block of clay or sitting across from you discussing a poem is someone fascinating. The energy is perfectly aligned for an easy, completely natural connection because you are both in a state of creative joy.
That is a perfect illustration. The secret here is not forcing romance. It is finding your own joy and letting the romance find you while you are busy smiling. Your attractive energy is at its absolute highest when you are playing.
Okay, but what if the listener is already in a long-term committed relationship? Sometimes those relationships get really bogged down. You stop playing and start just, managing a household together.
Exactly. Long-term couples often spend all their time talking about whose turn it is to do the dishes or paying the mortgage or dealing with the kids.
It becomes a business.
It does. But the full moon energy on April 2 is begging you to drop all of that heavy adult responsibility for one night. For couples, this is a beautiful, highly supported time to plan a fun date night, but not a serious, staring deeply into each other's eyes kind of date.
Right. No heavy conversations about the future of the relationship.
Not at all. Reconnect with your partner on a much lighter, playful, almost childlike level. Go to a loud arcade and play pinball.
Oh, I love that.
Go play mini golf and keep a ridiculous score. Go to a comedy club. Do something silly that forces both of you to laugh the exact same way you did when you first started dating before life got so complicated.
That sounds absolutely delightful. Just pure, unadulterated fun. But, as we have seen with the rest of this week, it is not perfectly smooth sailing the entire time, is it?
No, it rarely is.
We have to look at the day immediately following the full moon. We have to talk about April 3.
Yes, the universe always requires balance. While April 3 is a fantastic day for your mental clarity and communication at work, thanks to that Mercury-Jupiter connection we discussed, there is an entirely different, much more difficult planetary alignment happening in your romance sector on that exact same day.
Well, sadly.
On April 3, the planet Venus forms a square with the planet Pluto.
Okay, there's that word square again. We know what that means now. Two cars crashing at an intersection. Intense friction. But this time, it is Venus and Pluto crashing. What happens when Venus, the planet of love and harmony, violently clashes with Pluto?
To understand the clash, you have to understand Pluto. Pluto is the furthest planet out. It is the ruler of the underworld. It governs everything that is hidden, buried, secret, or deeply psychological.
Ooh, dark stuff.
Yes, it rules our shadow selves. When Pluto clashes at a 90-degree angle with Venus, the planet of love, it acts like an earthquake on the ocean floor.
An earthquake, wow.
Hidden, buried insecurities suddenly bubble violently up to the surface. This intense, heavy energy can easily cause strange misunderstandings with the person you care about.
I can picture exactly what this feels like. It is the classic sudden rain cloud on an otherwise perfect sunny date.
Exactly.
Let's say you are walking through the park with your partner. You just had a great lunch, the sun is shining, everything is totally fine. And suddenly they make a tiny passing comment. Maybe they mention an ex-partner in passing, or they make a tiny joke about your outfit.
Just a small thing.
Right. Normally, on any other day, you would laugh it off or completely ignore it. But today, on April 3, because Venus is squaring Pluto, that tiny comment bypasses your logical brain and hits a deeply buried hidden insecurity right in the center.
Yes.
You suddenly feel intensely defensive or hurt or deeply jealous. The sunny day gets very cloudy very fast, and your partner has no idea what just happened.
That is precisely how a Venus-Pluto square operates. It pulls up old feelings, old wounds, and old fears that you thought you had buried years ago. It makes mountains out of molehills in your heart.
So how do you handle it? Because a Gemini's instinct when they feel insecure is usually to use their words as weapons or to just shut down and give the silent treatment.
Doing either of those things will ruin the week. The charts provide a very clear, very necessary solution for April 3.
Which is?
You must use that brilliant communication skill we talked about, but use it for vulnerability. You must speak honestly from your heart to clear the air quickly and compassionately.
So instead of crossing your arms, staring at the ground, giving them the silent treatment and ruining the rest of the afternoon, you have to force yourself to stop.
Yes.
You take a physical breath and you say out loud, hey, I know you didn't mean anything by it, but when you made that comment just now, it actually hit a nerve and hurt my feelings a little bit.
Exactly. You drag the hidden Pluto energy out into the light of day. Do not let it fester in the dark. Address it immediately with compassion, knowing and admitting that your own insecurities might be making the comment seem much bigger than it really is.
That takes a lot of maturity.
It does. But if you speak from the heart, the rain cloud will pass just as quickly as it arrived, and you can go right back to enjoying that playful, joyful energy.
Communication really is the ultimate key to everything for you this week. It solves the work problems, it secures the money, it fixes the romantic misunderstandings,
It is your greatest tool.
which naturally leads us to a very important, highly practical question. If communication is your absolute superpower right now, who should you actually spend your precious time talking to? Your energy is finite, so we need to know who is going to drain it and who is going to charge it.
That is a crucial point.
Let's look at the compatibility charts. Let's talk about who you should text immediately and who you need to dodge like the plague.
Compatibility is a huge defining factor this week because your Gemini energy is so highly sensitized. The astrological charts are very clear about the specific energies that will help you thrive and the energies that will cause you immense harm.
Let's start with the good news.
Yes, let's start with the positive side of the equation. Your absolute best match this week, the person you want in your corner, is someone born under the sign of Sagittarius.
Sagittarius,
Yeah.
the archer. Why are they the perfect companion for our Gemini listener during this specific week?
When I analyze the geometric dynamic between Gemini and Sagittarius this week, it is truly special. They sit directly opposite each other on the zodiac wheel. You are air, they are fire.
And air feeds fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Air feeds fire. Sagittarius brings a boundless, fiery optimism and a massive sense of worldly adventure. This perfectly beautifully matches your current curious and intellectually stimulating nature.
Oh, I can see that dynamic so clearly. You both just want to learn, explore, and talk about huge concepts. Imagine this scenario. It is 2 in the morning, and you are sitting in a 24-hour diner with a Sagittarius friend.
The perfect setting.
The coffee is flowing. The charts say your conversations will not just be polite chit-chat. They will flow easily and deeply for hours. You are not talking about boring, everyday gossip or complaining about the weather.
No, not at all.
You are covering a wide variety of fascinating, sweeping philosophical topics and grand ideas for the future. You are talking about the origins of the universe, about human psychology, about the meaning of art, about foreign countries you want to travel to.
Exactly. A conversation with a Sagittarius this week will feel like a breath of fresh air for your busy mind. And what is most valuable about a Sagittarius right now is that they offer a completely judgment-free zone.
Oh, that's so important right now.
Remember, you have this desire to step outside your comfort zone, to pitch big ideas at work, and to try new things. A Sagittarius will encourage you to do exactly that without any fear of failure.
They won't shoot you down.
No. If you tell them a crazy idea, they won't list the reasons it will fail. They will say, "That sounds amazing, let's do it." Their blunt honesty and their direct, unbothered approach bring you immense comfort and crystal clear clarity when your own mind gets tangled.
So if you are listening to this, pull out your phone right now, scroll through your contacts. If you see a Sagittarius in there, send them a text, ask them to grab a coffee, go for a walk, or just jump on a phone call. Let them feed your fire.
Yeah, Phil.
But as we scroll through that phone, what if we see a Virgo in the contacts list?
If you see a Virgo, I must strongly advise you to keep your distance this week. Put the phone down.
Uh-oh.
According to the astro data, your absolute least compatible sign this week, the energy you need to actively dodge, is Virgo.
That sounds serious. Why is it? What is the specific clash between Gemini and Virgo right now?
It comes down to fundamentally different approaches to life, which are highly exaggerated by the transits this week. Both Gemini and Virgo are actually ruled by Mercury, but they express it entirely differently.
How so?
Virgo is mutable earth. They have an intense, driving need for absolute perfection. They thrive on strict daily routines, highly organized schedules, and catching tiny errors.
And Gemini.
You, Gemini, are mutable air. Especially this week, you have a free-spirited, chaotic, adaptable nature. You prefer to go with the flow, pivot when technology fails, and adapt to changing circumstances. Earth wants to build a wall, air wants to blow right past it.
Okay, let's put this clash into a real-world scenario so the listener can feel how uncomfortable this is. Imagine you have to plan a quick weekend getaway with a Virgo this week.
Sounds stressful already.
You, as a Gemini, just want to pick a random city on the map, drive there, and see what happens. You want to wander around the streets, pop into a cute restaurant if it looks good, and just let the day unfold.
Yes.
But the Virgo has created a 5-tab, color-coded spreadsheet with minute-by-minute itineraries. They have scheduled exactly when you will eat lunch, down to the minute, and they have pre-calculated the tip.
It's just too much.
For you, especially with your nervous system craving peace, that level of micromanagement is going to feel incredibly suffocating and restrictive.
It will feel like being locked in a cage, and it naturally leads to frequent arguments, passive aggression, and deep mutual frustration. But the real danger isn't just a ruined vacation. The real danger is around April 3.
Why April 3 specifically?
Remember what else is happening on April 3? Venus is squaring Pluto, bringing up your hidden insecurities and making you highly sensitive to criticism.
Oh, right.
During this specific time, the charts indicate that a Virgo's natural habit of constantly criticizing your methods or pointing out tiny flaws might deeply, profoundly hurt your feelings.
Because your nervous system is already a bit overloaded. You spent the whole beginning of the week just trying to find some inner peace and quiet. If someone is standing over your shoulder on Thursday, picking apart every tiny microscopic detail of how you are doing something, it is going to sting 10 times worse than usual. Because of the Venus-Pluto square, you are not even going to fight back. You are just going to feel completely defeated and withdraw entirely.
Yes, the psychological toll will be heavy. So the practical rule of thumb the charts provide is very specific. Do not work on precise, detail-oriented tasks with a Virgo this week if you can avoid it.
To say no.
Do not try to organize a complex filing system together. Do not try to balance a complicated budget with them. Your fundamentally different approaches to problem solving will only result in a highly stressful, toxic, and unproductive environment for both of you. Save the complex teamwork for another week when the stars are more forgiving.
Protect your peace at all costs. Text the Sagittarius to dream about the future and dodge the Virgo so you don't get trapped in a spreadsheet. It is that simple. Now, before we start to wrap up our journey through this massive week, I want to casually drop some lucky numbers that showed up specifically in your astrological charts.
I always find it so fascinating to observe where these numbers actually appear in the wild for people.
Right. It is like a little scavenger hunt the universe sets up for you. These are numbers that might pop up and bring a little extra spark of luck, a moment of serendipity, or just a quiet confirmation to your day.
It's a fun exercise.
Are you ready? You might want to grab that yellow sticky note and write these down. Your lucky numbers for the week are 5, 17, 29, 33, 44, and 56.
Keep those in mind as you navigate the days ahead.
Yeah, keep a sharp eye out for them in your daily routine. Maybe you are at the grocery store buying your herbal tea to avoid the caffeine, and your total comes to exactly $44.56.
It happens.
Or you're waiting for public transit after your computer crashes at work, and bus number 17 pulls up right as you arrive at the stop. Or you look at the clock during a great conversation with a Sagittarius, and it is exactly 5.33. When you see them, don't overthink it. Just take it as a playful, gentle little wink from the universe, confirming that despite the chaos, you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
It is a wonderful, grounding way to stay present and mindful of the energy moving around you.
Well, looking at everything we have unpacked today, it has been quite an intense, deeply layered journey through the week of March 30 to April 5, 2026. Let's do a quick wrap-up summary so you can keep all of this straight in your busy Gemini head.
Yes, let's trace the path of the week one more time. It starts with a vital, non-negotiable need for quiet time and healing on March 30. Your nervous system is overloaded from picking up too many signals, and Venus is telling you to cancel your plans, stay home, wring out the sponge, and enjoy your own company.
Then you hit a frustrating speed bump at work on March 31st with some annoying technology glitches. But instead of throwing a tantrum, you use your natural Gemini adaptability to pivot, find a new way to work, and seriously impress your boss.
Which sets you up perfectly for April 2 and April 3, the absolute best dates of the week. The full moon in Libra brings joyful, playful romance, allowing you to release built-up tension by playing like a child. And the Mercury-Jupiter connection gives you genius-level, big-picture mental clarity to solve impossible problems and successfully negotiate for what you want at work.
And finally, as the week closes out, you navigate the money trap on April 5. You consciously resist the blinding optimism of the sun clashing with Jupiter, you review your actual budget, and you avoid spending recklessly on a shiny new toy so you can save for something genuinely meaningful later. And
Exactly.
throughout it all, you are talking to the fiery Sagittarius and avoiding the critical eye of the Virgo.
It is a complete, beautiful narrative arc. You move from exhaustion and rest to a sudden challenge to brilliant triumph to necessary caution.
It really is a masterpiece of a week if you know how to play it. But before we go, I want to ask you to leave our listener with one final thought. We have covered so much ground today. We have looked at every corner of the charts. But what is one final provocative question they can chew on as they go about their days?
I have been thinking deeply about the intersection of the two major themes we discussed today. We talked at length about how the stars are giving you completely unmatched, genius-level communication skills this week, especially around April 3.
Right.
But we also started the entire conversation by talking about how your physical nervous system is desperately, quietly begging for rest and boundaries. So here's my final thought for you to consider. What would happen if you used that brilliant, unmatched power of persuasion to finally set some firm boundaries?
Oh, wow.
What if your absolute best, most genius idea this week at work or in your personal life isn't a new project at all? What if it is simply using your perfect clarity to tell the world that you need a break and making them respect it?
Oh, wow. Using your loudest, most persuasive voice to demand quiet. Using your Gemini superpower to protect your peace. That is a profoundly powerful thought to take with you into the week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Horoscope TV. We truly appreciate you spending your time with us, letting us explore these charts with you, and sharing in this journey. We want you to be as prepared as possible for whatever the stars bring your way. So please make sure you subscribe so you can get notified the exact moment the next episode is available. Take care of yourself, find your peace, watch out for those tech glitches, and we will see you next time.